Welcome to the ElectrifiedMind.com podcast, your direct access to the top life coaches, inspirational and motivational leaders of our world. Be prepared to eradicate your doubts, fears, and toxic energy as we electrify your mind for success at ElectrifiedMind.com.
Welcome to Electrified Mind. I am your host, Philip Isaac. On today's show, we have the founder of Thrive Learning Collective. Our guest today finds joy in guiding people to their utmost potential for passion and presence in their lives. I am privileged to introduce as a guest on our show today, Sandra Vesterstein. Sandra, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Philip, for having me.
And thank you so much for being here. I want to dive right into your company, Thrive Learning Collective. What was it that was so important for you to start this company?
Well, I've always had the passion to lead people to be their greatest version of themselves. And I did that for a while as a solopreneur. And what I realized through that work is that I really do like working with like-minded individuals. And so after much contemplation, I thought, why don't I create a business that can gather a whole bunch of different people that have the same passion as I do and create a world that it's a better place to be. And so I founded Thrive Learning Collective.
I love that. What type of certification and training do you have that would ensure me that I would receive the best training possible?
Well, I was trained by Richard Bandler and John Lavelle and Kathleen Lavelle of Pure NLP. And in the NLP world, you kind of have to pick a camp. And so I decided to pick Richard Bandler's camp. I think Richard Bandler and John Grinder, as the co-founders of NLP, are both incredible innovators of our lifetime. And though we have to pick one camp or the other. So I picked Richard Bandler. And through the various trainings that I went through with their organization, I became a certified trainer for NLP. And so when someone comes to the class, they're assured that I've been trained with the best of the best, and I'm following their protocol. So there's some standardization in their training.
Gotcha. Why Thrive Learning Collective? What's so unique and different about you, and how would that benefit me?
Well, it's interesting. I was speaking with a woman today, and she asked basically that same question. And, in our day and age, information is cheap. We can get on the web and we can find out anything about everything, and so I have found for me what's important is delivering an excellent quality of education and really guiding our participants to not just have information. Really, I want them to know how to apply the information. And I want them to be proud of the organization they're graduating from. And so, a lot of people will say, where'd you get trained from, or who trained you, or whatever. And I want it to be that when they hear Thrive Learning Collective, they go, oh, they've got to be an excellent practitioner because they were trained at Thrive Learning Collective. And I think it's because of me really being devoted to having a passion for what I do, just a total devotion to students getting it, and being there to back them up to make sure that I'm reinforcing their learning. So they're not just sitting there and doing this education, like practicing, and there's no one around to, watch to see if they're doing it right, or help them hone their skills and, perfecting their technique. I believe that we do really important work, and I believe it's our responsibility to be responsible practitioners. And that's really what our platform is based off of, is high quality training and being responsible practitioners of NLP.
I love that. If I was to work with you, do I need any type of certification or qualification, or do you work with people that have no background in NLP as well?
Well, some people come to us and they've been through other trainings. Sometimes we have these participants that are kind of like workshop junkies, that they just go from one training to another. I have to say that most of the people that are trained in NLP that come to me haven't had previous training. And what they're looking to receive is certification so they can do this as a profession, or they're having NLP training because whatever they're doing in life, whatever profession they're in, they want to be that much better. So NLP is really the study of excellence. And so, you don't have to have any specific training. And sometimes I think, in all honesty, when someone comes in and they're really tied to what they've been doing, say it's like someone is a psychologist, or someone's practicing as, some type of specialty in maybe in the legal field, and they come in and they're attempting to fit NLP in that. And I always say, you know what the best thing to do is? Take whatever formal training or training that you have and just put it on the shelf for a week or two. And just because it's going to be there when you're done. Just put it on the shelf and allow yourself to absorb all the information that you're learning this next week or 2 weeks. And then when you get home, you can see how it all fits together, because NLP really is, I believe, like the umbrella that you can incorporate into your profession that brings all sorts of modalities together.
What's a typical training day look like?
Well, we usually start between 9:30 and 10 o'clock in the morning, and then we'll go till about 7:30 at night. Typically, what we'll do is we have a recap in the morning of what we learned the previous days, and then I will go into lecture, then I'll do a demonstration, and then we break out into small groups and we practice. And so I think it's really cool that participants get really 4 levels of learning. And so they can be the observer when I'm doing a demonstration. They're actually the client and the practitioner and the student. So they get 4 reps. And people who study the brain and how we learn, learning is through repetition. And so you get 4 reps just in one process. And so that's pretty cool.
Sounds awesome. What's the after graduate support? After I graduate, what does the after graduate support look like?
Sure. So what we do for after graduate support is that we have weekly calls, and some people use these calls for skill development. Some people use these calls for kind of like group supervision. They'll bring a client to the group that they maybe are not quite sure on how to work with them, and we'll kind of bat it around as a group, like what would be the best process for this person to use with their client. And then honestly, sometimes people come because they are feeling out of sorts and they need a little backup. So I might demonstrate a process on them for the group.
Awesome. And so with certification from your company, does that authorize me to have a positive impact on other people's lives using this NLP?
Well, it's funny because I've been training people in NLP for years, and I think a lot of organizations, you go there, you sign up for the NLP certification, and you go there, and it's kind of like, of course you're going to get certified. And I always tell our students, it's not, of course you're going to get certified, because you have to demonstrate to me that you get the processes and you know how to apply the techniques. And so people who come to Thrive Learning Collective have a higher standard. They really want to know. They just don't want the certificate. Some people just want a certificate. That's not what they're coming to me for. They want to know how to actually use these techniques so that they can bring a person to the next level, a higher level of living.
I love that. Tell me the most profound experience that you've had working with a client, and how did that manifest change in their lives using this neurolinguistic programming?
Well, it's interesting. I can't say that there's not a day that goes by, especially in a training, that I don't reflect before I go to bed and get I'm in awe of how this work impacts people, and seeing individuals taking their life back. I had just in this recent training a woman that has been married for years, and it was a less than stellar marriage, let's just put it that way. And she was very, very shy, and shyness to me is always something that I love working with, because once you get a hold of shyness and you get what it really wants for a person, and you heal that shyness, oh my gosh. So watching her evolve and grow, and so she can come in from walking into the room, basically can't even introduce herself to the participants, to actually sitting up in front of the room on her own, because when she went to introduce herself originally, she couldn't do it by herself. And seeing her shine, and seeing her progress, and she just got up in front of the room, and she's okay. She's actually talking in front of the room. There's no stage fright. There's no, she's worried that people are going to judge her. She's just up there being herself. And I think, wow, what a gift. I think it takes so much tension for a person to be someone other than themselves, that when they're finally freed, it is beautiful, beautiful to watch.
I'm sure that's amazing to be a part of that on a daily basis. Tell me, do you use these techniques yourself, or do you just teach them?
Well, as many people know, I originally got started training through Bennett Steller University for NLP, and eventually became partners in Bennett Steller University and trained with Michael Bennett, who was the owner of Bennett Steller. And we trained for years together. And I really think through the transition of me partnering with Michael, and now Michael has passed away, going through that transition and starting Thrive, I will say that I would not have been able to do it without NLP. Because it really shows you the skill of how to choose your emotions rather than excuse your behaviors. It teaches you how to think. It teaches you how to make decisions from the proper emotions. When they say you should never go to bed with an angry heart, well, take that with all different emotions. Like, you shouldn't make a decision based out of fear. So it really teaches us how to think. So yes, I use this daily in my life.
Awesome. How would I go about registering for this course?
Well, you could go to the Thrive Learning Collective website, which is thrivelearningcollective.com, or I prefer when people call me, because, I want to, when people register for the program, they become part of my family. And I believe in relationships that are supportive and synergistic. And so I want to know firsthand, what is it that a person really wants to get out of the training? So when I hear what they really want to get out of the training, I'm going to tuck that away in the back of my mind so that I can make sure I deliver that. So, and I also want to make sure that they're a good fit, that they are a person that is going to do business from the heart, that they actually care about honing their skills, that they're responsible in their practitionership. I want to make sure that when I bring someone into the group, is that they're going to be a safe person for all of us to be around. And I'm not talking, safe in the sense that, they're going to hurt us or whatever, but it really being aligned with the core values of Thrive Learning Collective. And so I want to make sure that that everybody is showing up in that, just in that energy, that we're there to assist each other to learn. We're also there to get certified, and we are there with an open heart. And that's so I prefer people call me directly so we can have a quick chat. It doesn't take long.
I love that. So beautiful. Sandra, I want to thank you so much for having such an incredible impact on so many people's lives, and also for coming on the show today and sharing with us what it is that you do and why working with you is the absolute best way to receive your certification in NLP. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you for having me.